No Jumper is going broke. I know that might sound crazy. Between both of our YouTube channels last month, we got over 25 million views. We're doing well on Facebook and Snapchat. We employ quite a few of the hottest content creators on the West Coast, and we pump out an insane amount of content on a weekly basis. How could we be going broke? Well, let's start here. We expanded too much during COVID at just about the exact moment that our revenue streams all took a hit. We hired a whole bunch of editors and other employees, and we bought a huge office building that cost us almost $4 million, thinking that the growth that we were experiencing during the pandemic was going to continue. And unfortunately, that did not happen. Our YouTube numbers, which had doubled or even tripled, gradually returned to normal. Our Snapchat and Facebook numbers, which had exploded during COVID, sometimes even hitting 6 figures a month, shrank by about 80% or more. Our Patreon, which was absolutely killing it for a year or two when we were doing uncensored, aka nude interviews with up-and-coming superstars like Kazumi and Sky Bree, fell off quite a bit with the launch of Plug Talk and a decreased interest in seeing us interview stars. In addition to that, you might recall that the channel took quite a hit when approximately 8 of our hosts left the platform in March of 2023. Although we've definitely largely recovered and managed to build up a very healthy roster of talent since then, that certainly took a toll on our business for a while as well. All that stuff hurt the business, but we were still solidly profitable. That is, until the last few months, where we experienced 2 major L's that we never could have seen coming. First, we lost the No Jumper Instagram. After almost 10 years of building it up and essentially no strikes on our account, we got taken down one day and we still have absolutely no idea why. We've had no luck getting it back despite being in contact with what seems like every Instagram recovery guy on the face of the planet. We were bringing in a very solid amount of cash monthly that was keeping us afloat via selling sponsored posts on the account. And that mostly vanished overnight. And while we've been growing the new No Jumper LA account up ever since and managing to sell sponsored collab posts using my Instagram and the No Jumper LA account, DM or email if interested, we aren't making anywhere near as much from Instagram now. Side note, if you're a Meta rep, please DM me. I would love to speak to anyone who could help with this. And second, in addition to that, we have been hit with a bullshit lawsuit from a former employee. Now, essentially everything in this lawsuit is completely fictional, and every lawyer that I've spoken to about it has described this as basically an extortion attempt, but it still cost us a ton of money already, and it's expected to cost us many hundreds of thousands of dollars to see this through to completion. It's insane to me that a person that we did so much for can just invent some grievances out of thin air and cost us this much money as a result. This person has literally lost every single friend that he used to have when he worked at No Jumper. His streaming career has completely tanked, and he even got kicked off the podcast that he left No Jumper to start. But somehow, that's our reality, and we have to fight this rather than just give in to this piece of shit. So as a result of all these circumstances, we are making some changes. Over the last few months, we laid off multiple employees in an attempt to reduce our expenses as much as possible. We closed down our store on Melrose, and we're in the early stages of selling our current warehouse and moving into a smaller space. To be honest, aside from the layoffs, which sucked, I'm pretty happy about a lot of these changes. I've realized that I should have paid more attention to DJ Vlad and kept my overhead as low as possible, particularly in terms of staff and location. I'm confident that once we get the building sold, we'll be in a pretty solid financial position again as a business. Oh, and I also just want to note that I am talking about No Jumper as a business. I've got another business in the form of Plug Talk, and I've got a pretty decent investment portfolio on a personal level. I mean, shit, I'm not $2 million in debt, and I never had to file for bankruptcy like T-Rel. But I honestly spend pretty much all of my time trying to create as much content as possible with No Jumper, and I can't really justify doing so unless the fundamentals of the business make sense. It was a big decision to share this stuff with you guys, but at a certain point I realized that I've been honest with the world about just about everything in my life over the years, and it felt wrong to keep all this stuff that we've been dealing with in secret. So I know you're thinking, what can you do to help? Well, I do have some ideas, which I'll sort into 3 categories here: free, cheap, and generous. Free. Obviously, I'm infinitely thankful to anyone who watches our content at all, follows us on the @NoJumperLA Instagram, and in particular, those of you who drop likes and comments on our videos and Instagram posts. In the long run, that stuff is super helpful. Cheap. We are really trying to get serious about embracing our members here on YouTube. For $5 a month, we've got a ton of awesome benefits, including being able to watch all of our interviews free of censorship and bleeped words before they're released to the public. members only chat for all of our live stream content, and we're just going to be prioritizing a lot of our most requested content and trying to do that live for members only. So for any of you who are down to spend $5 a month to help support the business, we're just going to try to keep adding more and more stuff to make that an easy decision for you guys who are down to support. And for those of you who have more money to spend, we're introducing a mega premium $100 tier to our memberships that will get your name added to the end of all our videos, and it will also get you consistent advice and opinions on your music submissions with one free submission per month and discounted additional songs. Basically, we're just trying to do as much as possible for anybody who's down to join this tier. So we're going to hype you up on our live streams and try to like really give you actual professional advice about what we think that you should do with your career and everything like that. And, you know, we're going to try to add even more value for that $100 tier as time goes by. Also, if you own or work for a brand and would like to sponsor the podcast, please reach out to Josh at nojumper.com. We're also selling collab promotional posts using the NoJumper LA and Adam22 Instagram accounts. So again, if you want to hit up Josh at nojumper.com, he can give you all the information.
Christopher J said $100 for the shout out. He said, "No, I'm good." So yeah, so it seems like No Jumper, you know, they're, you know, with the money they're losing, you know, ever since the COVID and everything, they laying off people. Now, you know, they're gotta switch really gotta switch the things they do in order to save the money that they save money and the money they lost, you know, and kind of, you know, shrink, you know, the people that they have and also the shrink of the ability to have too. So that's how sometimes business go when, you know, you lose money like that, and, you know, you gotta make cuts and everything. So go ahead, Running Man. What's your take on No Jumper, you know, kind of shrinking down their company?
First of all, I want to appreciate you, No Jumper. I'm not gonna lie. Most of the game I understand from the content world was from No Jumper. I get motivated by No Jumper. I like the way when it comes to the aspect of them posting content on a consistent basis. Those guys don't stop working. So I look up to No Jumper. No Jumper, DJ Vlad, DJ Academic. Those are the guys that they actually gave me the push and the pioneer to go hard when it comes to the aspect of content. Now, what hurt No Jumper at the end of the day, too many employers, too many employees in the company. Your company, you're a big name content. Don't get me wrong. Close to 5 million subscribers on your page. However, you out of that 5 million, the amount of money you get, you gotta branch it off between your hosts. So I think him adding shows and trying to revamp, doing something totally different, hurt No Jumper at the end of the day. Now that you losing two of his strongest pioneers because of the beef, messed up No Jumper. Now, when it comes to the toxicity of the content, mess up No Jumper as well. Sometimes people get tired of the toxicity. Now I get it. It comes from it has to be a balance. Once every blue moon, but every episode, someone's fighting, someone's cursing, it's all over the place. Hurt No Jumper. And don't get me wrong. Whack 100 didn't make No Jumper any time better. I'm just being honest. He didn't. He made No Jumper like more about game related. He started talking crazy out of the mouth. That would hurt No Jumper, but unfortunately, I think Whack 100 still with No Jumper. I don't think he let him go, but at the end of the day, it's just too much was going on with No Jumper, and I'm glad every business need to shake up to realize that, hey, you know, it was too much. Now we got to revamp, start over again, and hopefully No Jumper come back bigger and stronger than ever before. But I want people to pay attention to key gems No Jumper gave on how to post your content. Can you even say he gave good name, Snapchat? You got to pay attention. That was say he always give out good gems. That's why I say shout out to him, man. But terrible loss, man. Go right here, again.
I'm gonna just say this. I think from a business perspective, I think a lot of business they overshot their expenses and overhead, and this is what really happened to them. And now that as the business continuing and they're looking at their profit and loss sheet, they'll notice, okay, there's more loss than profit now. What do we do? So, you know what I mean? Him as a business owner and a CEO starting to analyze and say, gotta lay off some people and this and that. But also, too, there's components of the business that got him to this point. Loss of key people, like you say. Spending money on a building that he probably didn't need. Payroll. So all this, and not only that, the negative press also hurts your business, too. So this is him as a realizing just doing a reset. I think they're going to be okay after they just reassess what they got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like No Jumper. They're like here in the West Coast, especially here in LA. Because I think their warehouse is in Burbank. They're like I said, they're one of the big podcasters out here where I'm at right now. And and like I said, when you see numbers that you see a gigantic number, when you said COVID, that you saw your views going up. Everybody watching it. You was the hottest thing right now. And Adam was like, you know what? So if you're doing so good, hey, let's get it. Let's hire more people and get a bigger warehouse and everything. But he said a good thing. What he said about Vlad, how Vlad, how he keep his podcast. You don't have a lot of people working for him and everything, and how Vlad has been consistent for how can since 2010.
Yeah.
Dude, 15 years this
Yeah.
bad be doing. And
Mm-hmm.
how he does his content consistently, do interviews, just give him like a room for him, and then he, like I said, he has a membership, like, so you buy his membership, you can watch get it I think early interviews, you get to watch his interviews a little bit earlier than when he might, cut it up and then he put out a few interview and everything. So but yeah, you see how, I see how like Club Shay Shay, how he does his podcast and everything. He has, how he's building his podcast. He rents. I think he rents out his room. I forgot this is one place. He rents out the room. He doesn't have a lot of people. He has like very few people that works for him. I think the same people that works for him on Club Shay Shay, he works for him. He works for him for Nightcap too and everything. So when it comes to these like major podcasts and everything, and I think Adam learns and everything, you might be making the most money, you want to expand and everything, but at the end of the day, you see how these other podcasts are doing well, but they don't have a lot of people, and they don't, they have consistent content of what they're doing, and also they try to not to try to get what's the word I'm trying to find? They try to be with no joke, give more people, get more gangster out of it when it comes to podcasts and everything, which that kind of pushed me to watching No Jumper as well. But end of the day, I think No Jumper, they doing these cuts, just to save money and also adding things to make more money as well. I think they're perfectly be fine, but I don't think they're not gonna get the views that they did back in COVID. They're not gonna get that because the talent they had, also the time that happened too, because podcasts really blew up around COVID because everybody was sitting in their homes, and that's something to really put people to do was go on YouTube, watch podcasts and everything. That's how No Jumper, they kind of blew up. Kevin Samuels, they blew up. Fresh and Fit, how they blew up and everything around that time. I think that COVID year, that was a rare year where a lot of podcasts blew up and everything, and it's not going to go as we used to back in COVID and everything. But No Jumper will be fine. I mean, they're gonna do, like I said, they're gonna do some cuts and everything. Make sure they get their money okay. But yeah, I just say that COVID year, it was just very, very special for a lot of podcasters.